Now we're going to talk about the concept of tribes. We're going to talk about hidden tribes. And see, your downtown, it has tribes. It has groups of people who share an identity. They show up for each other. They care about something specific. This is a marketing concept outlined by Seth Godin in his book of the same name, Tribes. What we're not talking about here, we are not talking about demographics. Okay, demographics are going to tell you what people are. It's going to tell you their age. It's going to tell you their income. It's going to tell you their education. It's not going to tell you anything about who they are. It's the tribes that tell you who they are. That's what's going to tell you what they love. What is the thing that they would drive an hour for? What are the things they organize their weekends around? You know, in November, I flew to Los Angeles 2 different times. I flew there, I went to a concert, and I went back to LAX and took the red eye home back to Miami. On one of those shows, after I got to LA, I had a 4-hour drive to San Luis Obispo and then back to LAX after the concert. But I did it because I wanted to be with my tribe in a place where they were going to be gathered. Now, one more thing about tribes and tribalism. You've got metalheads, you've got deadheads, you've got parrot heads, you've got swifties, you've got blinks, you've got the Kiss Army, and here at Business Flair, we have a tribe. A tribe is a shared identity. It's a shared connection. It doesn't matter what your role is in the tribe. It's a place that you belong, whatever your position or role or function is. So you can be a flarehead if you're a member of our team, if you're a sub-consultant with our team, if you're a partner on a project, if you're a client, if you're a business owner in one of our communities, if you're a newborn to one of the flareheads. Anybody can be a flarehead as long as they get it the way that we get it. There's a shared identity that everybody embraces. Now I'm going to give you an example of tribal power. Wacken is a village in northern Germany. It's got a population of about 2,000 people. It's dairy farms, and 51 weeks of the year, there's nothing real special about it. But every August, between 90 and 100,000 people show up for Wacken Open Air. This is the largest heavy metal festival in the world. People fly in from Japan, Brazil, Colombia, Australia, South Korea, and of course the United States, and so many other places, Indonesia. And they go there to stand in a muddy field for a week in rural Germany with their tribe, the tribe of metalheads. They're not going there because of marketing. They're not going there because of an ad that they saw. They're going because of belonging, because these are our people and this is our tribe. The village, what'd they do? They built permanent infrastructure for this. I'm not kidding. They built a dedicated beer pipeline, 4 kilometers long, 14 inches in diameter, moves about 400,000 liters of beer a day to the event site. This is a 2,000 person population town that manages a temporary city of almost 100,000 people for a week, better than most American cities manage their 4th of July parade. What I'm going to do, though, is let Wacken show you their tribalness instead. Now, can you think of anything that's more tribal than 100,000 metalheads at night in a field in Germany singing Beethoven's Für Elise a cappella? Come on. The lesson here is that identity-based gatherings are what create the loyalty that your transactional events are never going to be able to replicate. Your farmer's market is nice, but it's transactional. People come, they buy tomatoes, they leave. There's no identity attachment. The loyalty is to the baker who sells croissants in your market. There's a baker who's my next door neighbor. He is the one who has the tribe of people who follow him. Next week they'll go find him at the market down the road where he's going to be. And then he'll be in 5 more markets throughout the course of the week. But the monthly car cruise, that is tribal. The car people come out because that's where their people are. They're going to come out whether or not there's anything to buy. They come out because they belong to something. And again, we're going to think about the next thing I want you to think about. I want you to think about your downtown. I want you to think about who are your tribes, not the obvious demographic groups. That's not what this is. Again, these are your tribes. These are the people with a shared identity who organize around a shared passion in your community. Think about what are the 3 groups that constantly show up for something. I can give you examples. I don't like giving examples because you're just going to hear one of these and think, yeah, we have that. But you might not. And listen, just because people drive classic cars to your downtown does not mean that you have a car culture tribe. But there's so many different types of tribes that you could be. These are just a few examples, and there's so many more of this. Cyclists and motorcycles and fishermen and hunters. So many different options. I thought of 3 or 4 more this morning that maybe I can add to this list as well. So think about it. Who are the 3 groups that constantly show up for something in your town, who have a shared identity and are always finding ways to get together? Think about who are those true tribes. Don't grab something off of that last list because it sounds good. And this is not a place that you should be aspirational. Do not pick something that you hope would be tribal for your community. Do not pick a tribe that you wish you had. There's a separate process and way of thinking about how to try and attract other markets that you don't have. This is about who you actually are. And if you're not true and authentic in how you think of this, these exercises are not going to work for you at all. If you want to be a place for Bike Week and you don't have it now, that's not what you do here. Don't just pick for the hope. Think about who you actually have. And then I want you to think about where in your community do they gather? Do they gather in your downtown? You might have tribes that do, but you may have some that gather somewhere else. You may have some that gather in that Big Lots parking lot. And then third, think about those tribes. Think about where they gather. Think about who they are. And think about what do they need that they are not getting from us. If they're in your downtown, what do they need that will keep them there and create more loyalty to the downtown? If they're not in your downtown, what are they not getting that can bring them and cause them to want to gather in your downtown? If they're the car culture, what would get them to gather there instead of at the parking lot at the Walmart? Or instead of taking over a gas station? What do they need? So if you go through this honestly, you'll identify the tribes that you have and what their needs are. What you're doing by that is you're identifying your potential partners. The tribes become your programming infrastructure. They already have energy, they already have commitment, and they already have networks. This is why this doesn't work as an aspirational exercise. You have no partners. You have no network. You have no way to build that bike week if you don't have any bikers, even, no matter how bad you want them. So you're not creating programming for an anonymous demographic or a preferred crowd that you don't have or that you would rather have. This is about supporting the tribes who are already organized in your community. If the car people are gathering at the Walmart parking lot instead of your downtown, ask, what do we need to do to change that? Don't be asking, how can we attract more tourists without even knowing what tourists you might want to attract. Figure out why the tribes already gathering somewhere else in your community don't want to do it in the place you wish that they would. Because you have to understand that tribes bring loyalty. And loyalty means repeat business. Repeat business builds momentum, and this is how your downtowns come alive. Okay. Think about how having your community's tribes as partners and programming infrastructure for your community. You know, you may be understaffed, you may be small. We have Main Street programs they're an army of one. They feel burnout. Tribes become a force multiplier for that. Everybody wants an authentic sense of place. Well, your authentic tribes will fill the gaps that are missing in helping you create that. You want a resilient downtown? Maybe you want a nighttime economy. Your tribes, let them be your programming. Let them be your producers. And then remember what I said earlier, identity-based events create loyalty. Tribes and tribal events give you more legitimacy in what you do and helps you deal with criticism even that can come about events. That you're just doing events for events' sake. No. You're doing events and you're partnering with your authentic tribes in your community to build a sense of belonging and identity and connection to the place that extends well beyond the gates of the event and the date of the event. It translates into more people wanting to be there, more people wanting to open a business there, more people wanting to visit businesses there, more people wanting to come down there more often, more people wanting to live in the downtown or near downtown. Now we're going to go to part 3, which is your hidden assets.